I know the leader is going to show a poll that says that Democrats will be blamed for the shutdown. There are many more polls that show Republicans are blamed. The question in that poll is biased. Biased. In the New York Times, but it's biased. If you turn the... That's true. I don't always believe the New York Times. You can be sure of that.
According to a recent New York Times Siena poll, most of Americans do not want a government shutdown. But of course, it's a little too late for that, as Schumer has chosen to not negotiate with Donald Trump in good faith about health care. And of course, now the Democrats are stuck trying to spin this as being the Republicans' fault. So we're going to see today, of course, is Senator John Barrasso calling out Chuck Schumer on this exact same fact. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Reflecting what the American people already want. Nothing more, nothing less. They want us to sit down and negotiate something real that takes this huge, huge burden off their shoulders. And Donald Trump, instead of acting like an adult, he's the most immature president we have ever had. Instead of doing something to stop the health care crisis, is threatening to hurt countless hardworking Americans. Let me repeat the quote Donald Trump said yesterday. We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible. They're bad for them and irreversible, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things they like, cutting programs they like. Donald Trump says it loud and clear. That's one thing about him. He is using the American people as pawns, threatening pain on the country as blackmail. Well, that's not going to work. The American people, it's so easy to see through those tactics. They know this is the Trump shutdown. They know Republicans control the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And what is done during the shutdown will fall squarely on the Republicans' back. Donald Trump even says it. He says he is going to close down all these things people want.
Well, Senate Democrats have now dragged us into the Schumer shutdown. When I say us, I mean all of us as Americans. Didn't have to happen. And then it certainly doesn't need to continue. Americans are overwhelmingly against the shutdown of our government. This is a direct attack on hardworking American taxpayers who voted against wasteful Washington spending in the elections in November. Think back to previous continuing resolutions just like this one. You can think back to 13 of them during the time Joe Biden was in office at the White House. 13 of these passed. The minimum number of votes was 65. We voted to keep the government open, bipartisan. When Joe Biden and Barack Obama were president, Democrats said shutdowns were dangerous, destructive, and desperate. That's the word of the Democrats. Dangerous, destructive, desperate. Listen to those words. That's what Chuck Schumer said. He said, passing a clean CR would avert a harmful and unnecessary government shutdown. He also said if a government shuts down, it'll be average Americans who suffer the most. But yesterday, he stood here in the well and then voted to shut down the government. Senator Patty Murray of Washington is the top Democrat on the Senate Appropriations Committee. She has said a shutdown solves nothing. She went on to say, and it hurts everyone. Yesterday, she voted to shut down the government. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts said that a shutdown, quote, is the last resort for those who can't otherwise win their fights through elections and can't win their fights in Congress. Well, yesterday, she voted to shut down the government. Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut said, quote, there is a time and a place to debate health care, but not when the funding of the federal government and all the lives that are impacted by it hang in the balance. Well, yesterday, he voted to shut down the government. Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota is a member of the Senate Democrat leadership. She said, shutdowns are not good for the economy. Yesterday, she voted to shut down the government. Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii said, I've seen the same thing over and over again. He said, shutdowns don't work. No one wins, but Americans have a lot to lose. Yesterday, he voted to shut down the government. Those were Senate Democrat words when there was a Democrat in the White House. Yet last night, when it mattered, Democrats ignored their own warnings. Either their memories are short or their principles are situational. Mr. President, when he was majority leader, Senator Schumer broke that process, the appropriations process. Last year, the Senate Appropriations Committee passed, the committee, not Chuck Schumer, but that committee passed 11 of 12 appropriations bills, many of them unanimous, always bipartisan. And what happened? Senator Schumer let each and every one of them rot and die in his Senate desk drawer. He shut down the appropriations process, and now he wants to shut down the government.
So I absolutely love the fact that all of the Democrats are on record saying, hey, we should not shut down the government. Only the American people get hurt. This doesn't help anything. And then what do they turn around and do? Vote to shut down the government. All right. They're on record. We have video. We have quotes. It's all there. OK, so yes, blatantly, they are hypocrites. And remember, the whole reason why the Democrats now have chosen to shut down the government is over illegal immigrants receiving health care. They want to roll back all of the protections that were put in to ensure that illegal immigrants did not receive 1 penny of Medicaid, Medicare funding. But of course, now they want it all rolled back to be what it was before. But remember, the only changes in the big, beautiful bill about Medicare and Medicaid and all of that was that people who were not eligible should not be receiving it. So in other words, able-bodied individuals that do not have children and illegal immigrants no longer qualified for all of these subsidies. But the Democrats want all of that stuff put back into motion. And of course, to accomplish this goal, they're using the only tactic available to them as the minority party. And that, of course, is the filibuster, thus resulting in the government shutdown. Now, what do I think about this? I like government shutdowns. I like the filibusters. It does give a minority party a way to combat the majority. And the only reason the Democrats are doing this is because it's going to satisfy their voter base, right? You have basically over 60% of Democrats saying, hey, go ahead and oppose Donald Trump more. So I totally get why they're doing it. But what's the end result going to be? Nothing good for them. If you recall, Chuck Schumer voted for this all the way back in July because he didn't want Donald Trump to have the power to go ahead and make deep cuts into federal jobs and other federal agencies. But now guess what? Donald Trump has that power. So I guarantee the Democrats are not going to like the results of this, which is why I say bring it on. Let Donald Trump do what he's already on record as saying he's going to do. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.